So in this video, I will be going over each type of the tissues, like their categories and then their subtypes. So the first one that I'm going to be going over is epithelium. In epithelium, there is simple squamose, it's just a single layer of like squish cells. They're found in the alveoli of the lungs, in the blood vessels, and the serous membrane. So their function is absorption and secretion, and the reason why is because their structure, it's so thin and stuff like that, and it also has a single layer so that it just makes it easier for substances to pass through. And then there's stratified squamose. There's keratinized and non-keratinized. Keratinized, that is where there is keratin within the dead cells, making like the cells, they're more water resistant and they're just more thickened. So then those are found within they're found like right here on the edge of your mouth or on the bottom of your foot. And so like that main function is just protect against like abrasions and microbial invasions. But the stratified squamose, non-keratinized, so it has the same structure, like it's multi-layered flattened cells, but those cells are alive. So then their main role is to just keep moist structures from like drying out. They prevent dehydration. So those are more found within the esophagus and the vagina. And then there's simple cuboidal epithelium, which is just a single layer of cube-shaped cells. Those are found in the lining of the kidney tubules, ducts, and thyroid gland. So simple cuboidal, they just play roles in secretion and absorption. Stratified cuboidal, okay, so stratified cuboidal is just several layers of cube-shaped cells. They're found in more of the bigger glands, like your sweat glands or your mammary glands. And so their main role is protection and help to maintain the structure of ducts, which is why they're found in the bigger ducts than simple cuboidal would be found in. Simple columnar, that is just a single layer of tall, thin-shaped column cells. So they're located within the lining of the gastrointestinal tract, and they play roles in absorption, secretion, and protection. Pseudostratified columnar epithelium. So pseudostratified, so pseudo means false, and so you would think that they have multiple layers, but they really don't. It's actually just one layer of cells, and then they have like one nuclei located at different levels, which also gives it that impression that it's stratified. It's found within the respiratory tract, including the bronchi and the trachea, and their role is just to protect the respiratory system and is involved in the movement of mucus. Stratified columnar epithelium, so this one, it is multiple layers of the column-shaped cells. It's found within tissues that require protection and secretion, like larger ducts, the male urethra, and parts of the pharynx. So the way that these cells are is that the cells that are more superficial, those ones are more elongated, but the ones, like the farther you go deeper, then they start turning into more cube-shaped. And it's characterized by its ability to protect against chemical and mechanical stresses, but it also allows absorption and secretion. And then this type of tissue, it can actually change in the response to stimulus, which can be like inflammation. Transitional epithelium, it has multiple layers of cells, and they can change shape and size in response to tension. So these cells, so their main function is that they can be stretched out, and then they can contract back together, which is why they are found in the respiratory tract, which is why they are found within the reproductive system or within the bladder, because as the bladder fills up, then it can stretch, but then once it gets emptied, then it can contract back to its normal shape with like preventing tearing or any damage. Connective tissues. So you have regular dense tissues, and they have collagen fibers that are packed parallel, and it just provides tensile strength in one specific direction. And so that is found in tendons, which connect bone to muscle, and then ligaments, which connect bone to bone. And then irregular dense tissue, the only difference is that they're not arranged in a specific manner so that they can provide strength in multiple different directions. So it's located within the dermis, the outer covering of organs, and the capsule surrounding your joints. Elastic tissue, that has many elastic fibers, and it allows the tissue to recoil and stretch. So then it's located within the lungs, the skin, and the arteries. Areolar tissue, it has little specifications because it has so many types of cells and tissues within it, and it's more displayed in like a web-like fashion. And so this tissue is basically kind of like a filler between like muscle fibers, blood vessels, and nerves. And it also underlies epithelia. Adipose tissue, it has adipocytes, and so all it does is it just contains your fat cells, and it has a little extracellular matrix within it. Tissue is found within the subcutaneous layer in the skin, bone marrow. Your reticular tissue, it has reticular fibers, and it's in like a mesh-like framework for like soft organs like your lymph nodes or your spleen. And reticular cells, they produce reticular fibers that your other cells are able to attach onto. Hyaline cartilage, it's glossy and smooth, but it's your most abundant type of cartilage found within the body. It's located like it's on the tip of your nose, it's in your ribs, and it's like contains short and dispersed collagen fibers and proteoglycans. And so this tissue is strong, but it still allows flexibility. Elastic cartilage, it has collagen fibers and proteoglycans, and it allows elasticity while still containing some rigidity, so then it's located within the epiglottis or like the ear. Fibrocartilage, it has both cartilage and dense connective tissue. It's tough due to the thick bundles of collagen fibers, and it acts as like a shock absorber and gives structural support, which makes sense as to why it's within your intervertebral disc of the spine, because it acts as that short shock absorber whenever you're walking, and then it's also found within the meniscus of the knee. Compact bone, it's more of the dense outer layer of the bone, so it makes up the shaft of long bones or just the outer layer of any other type of bone. So compact bones, they have osteons, and then they each have like central canal, which has like your blood vessels and your lymphatic vessels and nerves. And then osteocytes are located in the lacunae between the lamella, and the osteocytes communicate through channels. Your spongy bone. So that one is less dense and more porous, and so your main function of your spongy bone is to just make your bone more lighter, make it more lightweight, so it's not as heavy like when you're walking or doing things. And then the space in between is your bone marrow that produces your blood cells, and then your spongy bone can also act as a shock absorber as well. Your blood, so that's the only fluid connective tissue, and it circulates all throughout your body. It carries oxygen, nutrients, waste, salts, all of that, and it's composed of erythrocytes, leukocytes, platelets, and plasma. So there's 3 types of muscle: skeletal muscle, which is long cylindrical fibers. This one is striated, and this is the only one that is your voluntary muscle. And it attaches to bones by tendons. And the other functions is it can produce body heat and protect your organs. Your cardiac muscle is characterized by short, branched, single central nucleus and striated. The main function is just to pump blood, and it's located within your heart. Smooth muscle is the only one with no striations. It has a single nucleus within each fiber. The tissue is located in the walls of major organs and passageways. So the functions are involuntary movement, is like the contractile component of the urinary, digestive, reproductive system, and it can regulate blood flow. And then your nervous. You have neurons are the functional unit of the nervous system, and those are like, they transmit your nerve impulses. They have your cell body, your dendrites, and your axons. Your cell body contains the nucleus, your dendrites are the receiving end, and your axons transmit signals. And then you have the neuroglia, which is the structural support and functional support for neurons. They have astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, microglia, and epidermal cells. Astrocytes, so then they're star-shaped, and those just regulate the chemical environment around the neuron. Oligodendrocytes, those form the myelin sheets that wrap around the axon. Microglia, those are the immune system, like the immune cells of the nervous system. And then the epidermal cells, those line the ventricles of the brain, and then they also produce the cerebrospinal fluid.